If there's one thing I could say about good trading is that it takes very little effort and time when you execute on the right opportunities. So we're done for the day. I actually finished up trading around 6:15 a.m. Pacific. So before the market opened, we saw an opportunity, we took it. I'm going to break it down for you right now. Let's get into it. It's a very simple setup. What I was essentially looking at was a carryover from last night's structure. So we can go ahead and start on a bit of a higher time frame. We can start even with the hourly chart. Get right into it. Very, very simple setup. I had looked at essentially the rejection of the previous day's high, and I wanted to see continuation lower, potentially at some point to this low at 25,324. Now, obviously, I sold before that. I don't need to hold for the entire move every single time. However, it is good to have an idea that is aiming for something. So when we go ahead and look at my execution time frame, this was actually a pretty simple setup. I had observed the fact that price was not only rejecting overnight at that level, that prior day high, but that we were able to then begin to break through VWAP. I was looking at it right here as we began to break through VWAP. When you see that price is unwilling to hold a level such as VWAP, and you can see start to see the bit of an increase in volume, and let's scroll back a little, you see that volume really does spike there. So when I'm seeing these pieces of information come together in real time as I sit down or stand rather in front of my computer right here, I'm able to understand that when volatility is going to expand like that, especially before the New York Open, there's probably a fair assessment that could be made about the fact price is just going to go lower. It's just going to begin to puke. So what did I do? I essentially was able to enter and structure my risk against that previous candle's high. So with that in mind, I was looking for a quick 2R. I would have been willing to let this trade work for a longer period of time if it was, let's just say, moving a little bit slower, or if there was more structure being built. But the fact that it went down so quickly made it difficult for me to want to give it more room. So as you can see, one thing that happens a lot of times when there is a big expansive move is that you will even just get this correction right here. As you know, as you can see, there's this corrective move. You can hold through this, of course, there's no problem with that. However, when you really think about where price is about an hour later, or 45 minutes to 30 minutes later, it stays in relatively the same spot. So the question is, do you want to hold through and actually see that whole move, materialize, or do you want to just take the easy money? Today, I decided to take the easy money, and that's something that I would recommend for a lot of traders. It's very, as you get more experience with it, it's very easy to want to hold for bigger moves and imagine that price is just going to continue in your direction forever. However, in many cases, price will not. And today is a good example that, well, if you held, you would just be in the trade really doing not much. So volatility will expand and then volatility will contract. We are seeing a little bit of both of that here. So that's pretty much it. That's the core message for this video. If you're looking to capitalize on just really easy trades, you should have targets that are within reason. The longer you aim, the further distance rather, the further you aim from your entry, the more likelihood that there will be some sort of pullback while you're in the trade or consolidation. And that, to me, in a lot of cases, is an opportunity for us to make mistakes. So the rate of return, right? The volatility behind it, the momentum, the impulse of the trade itself, that is measurable in a lot of cases. And it's also something that many traders should probably strive for, is just getting that easy trade. So much like today's trading day, I'm already done with this video. Hopefully you guys learned something. Check out the links down below. Discord, feel free to join. We also have top 1 futures now on Tradeovate. Check them out if you need a new prop firm. Until next time, take care, and always decipher the algo.